The handling, definitely like a muscle car. We also have some paddle shifters. Not the quickest transmission out there, but it gets the job done. I really don't think you need anything more than 300 horsepower if you're not gonna be so much of an enthusiast, you know. But essentially the only problem with this one is that nobody is buying these cars, and since they just recently got discontinued along with the Challenger and the Charger, this car is now just in a weird spot where it's just gonna phase out essentially. Ladies and gentlemen, it is like -5. We have a blizzard coming in, but they gave me a Chrysler 300 for once, all-wheel drive, and no, it's not rear-wheel drive, 3.6 liter V6, 292 horsepower, or basically 300 horsepower. It's way too cold for me to be outside, so I'm gonna quickly hop inside and legit just talk about this car, because I have a lot to say about this car, and I'm not gonna lie. It's way too windy for this, holy. Yeah, 3.6 liter V6, really nothing special. 8-speed automatic transmission. This one is the all-wheel drive variant. Basically think of it as a Charger without, I don't want to say Charger stereotypes, but without the Charger stigma that follows it around, yes. Because if you see a Charger half the time, you'll be like, you know what, it's a young person in a sports car and they're gonna try and do donuts at my intersection. This one, you're like, you know what, this person likes the muscle cars, but is a little bit more mature. And yes, this is a very mature car. As you can see, this system feels very similar to the Charger and the Challenger even, but the design aspect of this thing is very, very dated. Like, let's compare technologies. It competes with like legitimately competes with like a Nissan Maxima, a full-size sedan that's also front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive as well too. This one may be a little bit more snappy. The V6 gets us from 0 to 60 in 6.3 seconds, 6.6 seconds, compared to the V8. The V8 gets us to 60 in 5.3 seconds, and depending on how well you can launch it, you can probably get into the high 4s, very low 5s, you know. But let's talk about this car real quick. Besides it feeling very ancient and the kind of car you'd expect your grandpa to drive, there's a reason this car kind of got discontinued. Like, let's compare it to the Nissan real quick all over again. Nissan has a very, turn that off, very, very loyal fan base, to the point where Nissan can do no wrong in their eyes, even though right now they're going through some hard times. And since this one is all-wheel drive, even if we have snow like this, I'm not really worried at all. The handling, definitely like a muscle car. Handles exactly like a muscle car, but with a little bit of more agileness, as it is front-wheel drive, and I don't have to worry about my back end being a little bit too heavy or wagging a little bit too much. But essentially the only problem with this one is that nobody is buying these cars, and since they just recently got discontinued along with the Challenger and the Charger, this car is now just in a weird spot where it's just gonna phase out essentially. People who drive these cars and have these cars for themselves, I know for a fact, love them. Only thing is, since they're now gone pretty much forever, it's just gone, just like that. Bam, it's gone. And if we look at our interior right now, you can tell they did put some effort in trying to make it look nice, at least a little bit more classy compared to the base Challenger slash Charger. Because we have our little Chrysler clock right here, our 8 inches of screen, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and I would say they are pretty responsive. Like, okay, maybe not the most responsive and up-to-date thing, but you know what, it's decent. This thing can get you, will set you back just past 25k USD, and depending on mileage and the body condition of this car, it's honestly not really a bad buy. Again, looking at this, we have nice leather seats, and I couldn't really do a proper walk around because it was just a little bit too windy and it will mess up the audio of my camera, and I really didn't want to put you guys through that. As you guys can see, we also have some paddle shifters. Not the quickest transmission out there, but it gets the job done. I really don't think you need anything more than 300 horsepower if you're not gonna be so much of an enthusiast, you know. This thing is still quicker than most things on the highway and from a dig, because the all-wheel drive really helps out quite a bit. And if you're wondering, no, I wouldn't want to get a V6. I would highly recommend you get the V8, because once you get a V6 and you, for whatever reason, get your hands on a V8, you will ask yourself, why did I not get a V8 anytime sooner? And I'm pretty sure this cars also just have their last call models for these ones as well. So this car is probably not coming back. If you still like the Hemi, the Durangos still come with the Hellcat engines. That's pretty much all you're getting right now. But we're gonna try and do a quick little 0 to 60 once this car passes me by. We have a little bit of slush, a little bit of fresh powdered snow over here. So we'll see how well the traction control and the all-wheel drive system works out. And why did this person pull up going like 20? You have the right of way. I'm not risking you hitting me. But we're gonna do a quick 0 to 60 once this guy gets out of my way. Nobody behind me. We're gonna put it into sport mode. And we're not gonna turn off our traction control because I really wanna live to see another day. But that guy must be lost, because he is just going slow. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. And 100. Not bad. And we didn't even break traction that much. The all-wheel drive system definitely is a big plus. It would be cool if they could make it like what BMW does with their cars sometimes, where if you want to make it a two-wheel drive mode to do some foolishness, you can do that, or you can put it in X drive mode or all-wheel drive mode, and that way you can still have the confidence of all-wheel drive. But then some of you guys would argue that it wouldn't be a muscle car at that point. It would be more of a luxury sports car even, which I wouldn't mind my muscle cars having a little bit of luxury to it, but I know that's not what they're meant for. They're meant for burning rubber, being loud, being obnoxious, and just gathering as much attention on them, and pretty much smiles per gallons. This one may not be the full, let's say, I can't think of the word right now, but the full version of the muscle car, since it is a V6, but it still does the job very well, and our infotainment system is not that bad. If I look at how much gas we're spending right now, we are averaging 12.7, and that is with me stepping on it, that is with me driving it kind of rough, that is with me not taking it out of sport mode when I really don't need to be in sport mode, and that's honestly not too bad. I remember the first time I drove a V6 muscle car, it was a Charger, by the way. That car opened my eyes to what sports cars could really do. And again, you would say a V6 is not really a sports car, it's more of just, let's say, a regular car that looks sporty and fast. Because to the untrained eye, they probably can't see the difference between a Hellcat and an SXT. Fair enough. But once I drove that, I was like, you know what, I need to start reviewing more sports cars. And this is a step in that kind of direction. Hopefully I can get more dealerships and convince them to give me their faster cars. I'm not expecting to see any Ferraris anytime soon or Lambos, but maybe I should try and get my hands on some more BMWs or C63s or something along those lines. But first we'll take it slow and get a C43, see how I can handle that essentially. But anyway guys, this has been my little thoughts on why this car may or may not be the best option, or may be the best option for you, because as it stands right now, it just got discontinued. People don't love them as much as they used to, and now it's just there, you know, it's just here like a dinosaur, watching everything around it go from big V8s to and peppy little V6s to 4 cylinders and electric batteries essentially. But guys, let me know what you guys think. Why do you think this car wasn't the best seller out there, at least for the luxury / muscle car American segment essentially? Take care guys, and peace.